Welcome to the Turf War Arena. This arena doesn't look like much. In fact, it's going to be built up over the next couple of sessions I get on. I mostly just wanted to get the actual body of this set up. But this is located just outside of the Chillthreepia spawn, past, wow, I can't believe I can, Panda's. I think this is Panda's castle building with the spires that I could not identify. And it has a small little path right here leading to it. It will be improved upon at a later time as well. But that is a video for another time. The video you are here for today are the rules and how to play Turf Wars. So, to get started, you need two players. Both players have their own separate entrances to go down, and each area is essentially functionally identical. There is a chest for players to store their belongings if you want to put up just to clear out your inventory space since you will be going through some items, as well as a rule book, of which I'm going to be explaining through anyway. Here is the arena. The arena is essentially a 6x6 box. You'll notice that two of these blocks are lit up. I will explain that in a second. In addition to that, there is a hallway which explains each of the different types of cards and how they work. So to go with the most basic. This is a basic card. It has no effects. You'll notice at the bottom there is no text whatsoever. Here is the front wing card. You'll notice it has 4 characters for the word front. It's because I'm lazy and I didn't want to redo the word wing. An example of a card with an effect is going to be this lock card. You'll notice it has the word lock too. So to show how this works, whenever you go to start a game, the first thing you're going to want to do is push this button to swap the starting tile. That will rotate this tile and it takes a couple seconds. Once it stops, that's going to be where the game will start. So we are in the unfortunately unlucky position of starting here. You don't have to do this, but I do highly recommend marking your starting block with your tile for your color. So for example, I chose yellow and light blue. These all can be acquired from back here. All you have to do is just grab the color of the block you choose to use from the portrait or from the pick item frame, and then the carpet from the barrel. Once you do that, you're going to shuffle the deck. You won't see anything shuffling, and the shuffle takes 20, 30-ish seconds. I may be adjusting the times, but you'll know whenever it ends. You'll hear a specific sound. There it is. That's how you know the sound ends. The piston will come back up. That means that the deck should be all sorted and shuffled. Make sure nothing in the discard piles. Perfect. So once it's shuffled and you decide who wants to go first, I don't have a like coin toss mechanic in yet. I plan to add one in the future. But once you decide, each player will draw 5 cards. This will also very briefly, rapidly shuffle the deck so that you don't have to constantly keep pushing the shuffle button, but it'll send up a card. It takes about, I would say, maybe 8-ish or so seconds in order for a card to come up for either side. Unfortunately, because of how the system works below with water streams, there isn't a really faster way to make that happen. I did use ice to try and help, but you'll notice we're getting cards. Now, let's see. We're going to continue this once I have 5. Now, you can push the button in kind of rapid succession. As long as you're not pushing it too rapidly, it should give all the cards. That's 4, and here's 5. All right, so now if you look at this arena, you'll notice that in addition to my bench, I have 2 glass pillars on each side with picture frames or item frames. These are for you to place the cards in your hand so that you can better get a glimpse to what you're, wow, that's not bad, to get a better glimpse as to what you're looking at all at once. Compared to, for example, say, doing this, which could get kind of confusing. All right, so to show you how the game works, whoever is going first, they'll pick their starting tile. So for example, or not pick their starting tile, they'll go off their starting tile, which is right here. and they will play a card of their choice. These cards are not good for this turn. This is an example of a somewhat of a brick. And I will show you what I mean once I get another card in. Please be good. All right, perfect. This is a good example. So we're going to take this, that, and that. The only reason I'm not grabbing that is because it's a duplicate. So if you look at this card, you'll see that there's an arrow pointing up as well as 2 tiles behind it, and it says lock 1. The lock 1 we'll go over in a second. The arrow pointing up, though, however, indicates where this tile connects. So if I were to play this card right here, it has the arrow pointing right here. It's connecting to my tile right there, and it also has I don't have a magnifying glass thing. It has a tile above, forward, and to the left. So 1, 2. That'll match the pattern. And as soon as this card is played, this card gets sent to the discard pile. Now this discard pile will not get shuffled back into the deck unless you push this button, and it will shuffle all the cards in both discard piles back into the deck. This is actually really useful as a turn counter, as you can just boom, 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 and you'll know that you've played 5 cards. That means it's been 5 turns. Now, say the opponent goes and plays, and they play a card that does this. On your turn, you would go next, and say I want to play this card. I don't have to play off of the starting tile, but I can also play off of either of these two. So if I want to play the T Classic, I could start it right here, which would be where the arrow is, the red arrow, since this is a super rare. And it would proceed here, here, and here. So this card would go into this card pile. Now, if you notice, this card also has no effect. The next turn that I will play will show what an effect does. So, for example, take the left boot card. I am going to borrow this for a moment just to have easy access. So this left boot card, if I play off of right here, it would play right there, right here, and right here. Now, it says lock 1. What that means is that this card, it cannot have these tiles that were played with it swapped for the next turn. What I mean by that is, say you have an opponent that's cards are here. And imagine that they play their own card of left attack. If they wanted to play this right here, normally it would take over this space, and this space. Since this is locked, this card cannot get taken. But these tiles will get taken. And that's how you claim territory. And basically that about covers it for the lock card. This one also says lock 1. If it says lock 2, you would have it would last for 2 turns. And by turn, what I mean is your turn ends after you play a card and draw a card. So for this lock 1, it stays until I play another card. So if I played my own left attack right here, it's now the end of my turn. This lock goes away, and these tiles can be claimed. Now there is a card in the deck that is a lock 2. Same thing, it lasts for 2 turns. The way I recommend marking this is simply just double up on the carpet. 1 extra layer for lock 1, 2 layers for lock 2, and just remove those after you play. It's an easier way to visually identify, but feel free to mark however you like. In fact, you can even use a extra color as just a marker to indicate if a card is locked. So if you just want to have, for example, white. Don't need to, just offering suggestions. Let's see. Now this card, Wide Wing. Wide Wing covers 5 blocks, and it is a shuffle 1. So what a shuffle 1 means is, say this is my hand. If I want to play Wide Wing, I have to shuffle 1 card from my hand into the actual deck. Actually, let me take this boot card because I have 2 of them. So what I would do is I would go to the shuffle into deck box and put the card that I wanted to shuffle into the deck. Now that goes back into the deck, and as soon as I push anything that shuffles it, so draw a card or shuffle, it'll shuffle the deck randomly and will spit out a card. Once I've shuffled the one, I can actually play this. So say I was blue and I wanted to play it right here. It would cover this spot, this spot, this spot, and this spot. This part right here, though, is out of the ring, so this tile can't be a tile that's taken over. This spot right here, though, will be taken over, and that would be the end of the turn. Okay, he doesn't have Prisma. I was worried he would have Prismarine, and I was not excited about that, because if he did, I'd have to figure out which block he took. All right, let's see. Can I get another fun card? Nope, I got another left attack. What the heck? Now, for the most part, the cards that you can get, you just copy the effect, or you just do the effect as listed on the card. We're going to play a fun game of how many times do I have to push this button to get a new card type. Let's try 3. Ah, there we go. That's one. Nope. And yeah. All right, cool. Actually. All right. So the next card type we're going to go over is actually this one, the Skipper's Knight Rights. The Skipper cards are named after my friend Skipper, who we've been playing games together for about 10 plus years. And I actually had him help playtest this, and you'll see that in the other companion video to this. So this card has what I call hollow tiles. It doesn't have an effect, but these hollow tiles with the dots, what those represent are basically just reference markers for spaces. These are not spaces you're going to claim, but they're to indicate how many spaces there are before this one. So you connect it to your tile, you go up 2 spots, and then one over to the right. So for example, if I play that right here, this is a hollow tile, this is a hollow tile, and this is the one that I take over. And that would be how the Skipper's Right works. And there's a few of these. There's one that only has like a 1 blank goes here, and another one that's the Skipper's Knight left. The knight just because of like the chess piece knight's move, doing the 2 then 1. Now the next card is this one. This is a convert card. You'll notice the little convert circle diamond at the end. The way convert works is a little iffy. So if I played this card right here on the yellow tile, I would take over this one because that is this clear one, and the convert piece would be right here. So as long as I don't have any tile on this convert slot, nothing happens. If I have a orange or if I have a blue tile here or the opponent's color, that tile is converted to yellow. And so I would take that over. But if a yellow tile is here, so for example, say I played that, say this is the state of the board and I play it right here, I would take over this one, and this one would be converted to the opposite color, which is blue. So it flips all colors, or it flips all tiles to the next, to the opponent's tile. It's a little awkward, and there are some cards that are very powerful. There is a card, for example, that if you played it here, you would take over the spot guaranteed, and it converts this, and this. Depending on where you play that, you could possibly net yourself 4 extra tiles, but in this case, you would convert this one to yellow, and this to blue. And that card is called Backsplash, named after my wife's favorite joking phrase from Smash Bros. Parodied. Let's grab 2 more, see if I get the 1 or 2 final cards I'm looking for. Nope. This is another one. It has the 2 hollows. Again, if I played this, say I played it right here, you go over 2, 1, 2, and take over this spot. Same thing, 1, 2, take over this spot. Here's the basic skipper card. I'm unfortunately the one card I'm looking for. There's only 2 copies in the deck. Nope. Nope. We're going to have to brute force this. Oopsie. Which one? This is the one with Silk Touch. All right. No, there is one final card type. And weirdly enough, it's honestly the easiest of all the cards. This is the strike card. It's listed as strike, and there will be future strike cards that have different patterns or actual additional effects. That's why this is just basic strike. The way a strike card works is you see this tile right here, the starting square, and the starting square for this one. This tile can be played anywhere that's not there, including, for example, if I'm yellow, I can play it here if I want, or here, 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 here. But it doesn't really matter. As long as it's not one of the starting tiles, you can take it over using that strike tile. Now, where this comes into great effect is advanced strategy. If you're, for example, late game and say the board looks like this, and you're just trying to make a massive play. If you strike here, and then your opponent ignores it on your next turn, for example, you can play protect. This will take over these 2 spots and this for little consequence. And these, in addition, are now locked for a turn, so your opponent can't do anything with this. So say you are going, if you go first in the game, on your 8th turn, or on your 9th turn, you can play this card, or yeah, 9th turn. You can play strike, take over the spot, and on your final turn, you can play this. These cards are locked, so you just gained 4 cards against your opponent that they can't do anything about. Same thing with the 1 card backsplash. The way the backsplash works is you play it. Oh, let's get a good example. This is a bad example, but nevertheless, say you strike right here. Backsplash, you play 1 here, 1 here, and you take over. You convert these 3 tiles. So if this tile goes in answered, you get this, and then you would also convert that one, convert this one, and this one. So you're basically getting +4 out of that. And there's all kinds of different things. A lot of the times, just depending on if your opponent's thinking you have a play or not, they may want to react to the strike, or they may not even have an option to, just based off their hand. But alas, though, whenever each player has played 10 total turns, so again, good way to indicate that is by looking at your discard pile. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards. So I've played 10 times. If opponents play 10 times, now you count up the number of tiles. You can include the base tile or not. It doesn't matter, since it's literally just adding 1 to each score, just as long as you both agree. Count up the number of carpets you've used, and whoever has the most wins. And the reset for the game is very, very simple. Once you've determined the winner, put all your cards from your hand into your discard piles, clean up the tiles, make sure that you haven't put anything but cards into the shuffle or the discard piles. Push this button and it will send all the cards into the deck for both sides. And then you could just simply shuffle the deck. And that's basically all there is to it. It's a very simple game. Once you get playing, it's easy to get into a rhythm of going back and forth without even having to have too much discussion. Again, as long as y'all can mutually agree on like if you want to include the starting tile or not. Sometimes it's easier just to count carpet. You can, for example, put all your carpet inside your inventory, go break what's on the board, and then you'll have an exact count in your hand. But that is a rundown of how to play Turf Wars. If anybody has any questions, please don't hesitate to ask on the video or message me on Discord, and I will be more than happy to answer them, go over the basics for you. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you enjoy the actual gameplay you'll see in the partner video.